All right, let's talk about gold. For thousands of years, it's been the ultimate symbol of wealth, power, and beauty. But have you ever really stopped to think about just how much of it actually exists in the entire world? The answer, as you'll see, is both way bigger and much, much smaller than you probably imagine. So let's start with a little thought experiment. Imagine we could gather up every single piece of gold ever pulled from the earth. We're talking from ancient Egyptian tombs, from sunken Spanish galleons, heck, even your own wedding ring. Just think about it for a second. All the vaults, all the jewelry, all the gold sitting in electronics. Would it fill up a skyscraper? A stadium? What do you think? The reality is pretty staggering. The World Gold Council's best guess puts the total at about 216,000 tons. Now, while that's an incredible weight, the key thing you gotta remember is that gold is also incredibly dense. Because it's so dense, all of it, and I mean every last flake, would fit into a single cube measuring just 22 meters on each side. That's barely tall enough to clear the head of the Statue of Liberty, from her heel to the top of her head. It's a surprisingly tiny volume for a metal that has literally shaped so much of human history. To put it another way, if you were to spread all that gold evenly across an American football field, it would only create a layer about waist deep. That's it. That is all of it. And this incredible scarcity really brings up a fundamental question. Where did this precious metal even come from in the first place? Well, believe it or not, the story of gold doesn't begin here on Earth. Nope, it actually begins billions of years ago in the absolute most violent events the universe can possibly cook up. That's right. Not a single atom of the gold we value so highly is native to our planet. It's all extraterrestrial. Every single bit of it was forged out there in space and delivered right to our cosmic doorstep. You see, normal stars, like our sun, they can fuse elements, but they pretty much max out at iron. To create something as heavy as gold, you need an event with just an unimaginable amount of energy. Scientists call this the R process, or rapid neutron capture, and it only happens in the craziest places, like an exploding supernova, or, get this, the cataclysmic collision of two neutron stars. So picture this. In just a matter of seconds, these insane cosmic explosions are creating gold atoms, which are then just blasted out across the entire galaxy. This gold-laced dust eventually mixed into that giant cloud of gas that collapsed to form our solar system, and yeah, our own planet. Gold is, quite literally, stardust. Okay, but that brings up a new puzzle, right? If gold was part of the material that formed Earth in the first place, why is it so ridiculously rare on the surface? Why do we have to dig so deep to find any of it? Well, way back in its early history, Earth was just a hot, molten mess. And during this phase, all the heavier elements, like iron and, you guessed it, gold, they just sank. Under their own weight, they migrated right down to form the planet's core. The vast majority of Earth's original gold was locked away, completely out of reach. So how do we have any gold at all? Well, for that, we can thank a pretty wild period about 4 billion years ago called the Late Heavy Bombardment. For millions of years, asteroids just rained down on the young Earth, and these celestial delivery trucks were carrying a precious cargo, more gold, which was deposited right onto the crust and mantle. And the scale of this is just mind-boggling. It means over 99% of all the gold on planet Earth is still trapped way down in the core. The gold we can actually mine is just a tiny fraction of 1% that was delivered later by all those asteroids. And get this, for some perspective, that inaccessible gold down in the core, there's enough of it to wrap the entire land surface of the globe in a solid 1.5-foot thick layer of gold. It's an almost unimaginable treasure, thousands of miles right beneath our feet. Okay, so let's shift gears from the gold we can't get to the gold we actually have. Over millennia, humanity has gotten pretty darn good at finding that tiny fraction that's scattered across the crust. Humans have been fascinated with gold since antiquity, but the pace of extraction has just exploded in modern times. I mean, the gold rushes of the 19th century were really just the beginning. The real boom came after World War II. And this is a wild fact. It means that most of the world's gold supply isn't ancient. 2/3 of that 22-meter cube we talked about has been pulled from the ground in just the last 75 years, all thanks to massive advances in mining technology. And here's what makes gold so unique among resources. It's chemically inert. It doesn't rust or decay. This means that almost every single ounce of our mind is still here with us. It's not consumed like oil, it's just transformed from a Roman coin to an Incan idol to a circuit board in your phone. It's the ultimate recycled material.
So what do we do with this finite, indestructible stockpile of stardust? Well, its uses are as diverse as the cultures that have treasured it for centuries.
Unsurprisingly, the biggest chunk, almost half, is in jewelry. But a huge portion is also held as an investment in the form of bars and coins. And look at this, central banks around the world hold about 17% of all the gold ever mined as a store of national wealth. And the scale of those national holdings is just immense. The United States alone holds over 8,000 tons of gold in reserve. That's more than the next 3 countries combined. It remains the bedrock of the global financial system, even if our currencies are no longer directly tied to it. But hey, it's not just about wealth and beauty. Gold is a critical industrial metal. Its resistance to corrosion and incredible conductivity make it absolutely essential for electronics. It coats astronaut visors to protect them from solar radiation and is even used in medicine. It's really the hidden workhorse of modern technology. And this brings us right back to where we started. We began our journey in the cosmos, and that might just be where the future of gold lies as well. The gold we can mine on Earth is a finite resource, but we know there are asteroids out there just packed with precious metals, including gold. So the question is no longer just a fantasy. As technology advances, will humanity's eternal quest for gold take us back to the very place it came from? The final gold rush may not be on Earth at all, but back among the stars.